What's good, people? It's your boy, Niggas Niggas, aka Hidden Mighty, aka Maga Did It On. Here with a important PSA message. I'm gonna call this video So You Think We're the Only Ones. Now, of course, So You Think You're the Only One sounds synonymous or something related to extraterrestrial life. Well, you're right. And as a person who's had experiences in my earlier life, I am to a truth that there are life outside of Earth. But I come to you with a deeper analogy, and I want you to follow me on this and stay with me on this. Now, understand something, right? Now, let's say we were the only ones on Earth, right? If we're the only ones on Earth, that will allow us to think on a human level, right? Meaning that we will be more submissive to the systemic economic rules, regulations, terms, conditions as we live in, which would make us more. It would help us subside with the reality that we think is the all or the right way of doing things. But let's put ourselves into an let's say in an astronaut shoes, or somebody who's actually been amongst aliens, right? We see it in movies all the time, but we never consider the fact that if we were this person on, let's say, what's this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, if we were this person in second person, how would we react? How would we really think? Do you ever think, if you were that man on Guardians of the Galaxy, right? How would you think, right? Now, I'm putting myself in the shoes. Now, check this out, right? So, I'm the guy on Guardian of the Galaxy, whatever his name is, doesn't matter, right? I fly out of space, right? And I'm on a ship. And I notice, I say, damn, there are planets all over the place. There are planets all over the place. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, how are the ecosystems on those planets? And then I'm thinking further than that. I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, okay, why did God create these planets individually and different? And did he take the time to architect these planets as he architected other planets? Or did it just expand out of just vibration and all these different things diversely created within itself as well as amongst itself through just the vibration of just creation itself? Because when you think about things, right, when you create things, right, you think, content, wording, you think thought after thought, but everything that you're made of, it would have to take careful thought into going into to be created individually. Your organs have so many parts and properties and even nerve systems that surrounded it. Somebody would have to carefully create these things carefully, one by one, individually, right? You think anybody got time? Not even God. You think God even has time to individually create these things one by one and make sure they're connected? Or an explanation for this would be that through him just creating a source, the source can just expand and create his own knowledge. And once it creates its own knowledge of itself, it begins to be wonderfully made, but then fearfully made. Almost like a seed, right? Who knew the seed was going to grow up to be this big ass tree with a bunch of leaves, and then it have the chance of drying up due to the ecosystem? And if you didn't water it, it would grow, and then it would be multicolored, and then its texture would have the. You think God actually has the? Well, he probably does. He's God, but you think anything with sense creating something would create something onto a point where they know it's every turn and curve and hill and valley and peak, and just to have a purpose, and them studying this every property and every part? I don't think that is. I don't think we know how things work. We look at it and see it every day, and he gives us the conscious ability to imagine what it can be, but we don't want to take it that far. But I'm thinking to myself, like, if you were on a good vibration, right, and something beget from this good vibration, sometimes things can beget, it can be birthed. And through the source on how it's made, it was made to expand and create on its own, almost on a homeostasis level. So when I'm flying out of Earth and I'm noticing all the planets, I'm thinking to myself like, yo, you know what? Are we talking hypothetically here? I'm thinking to myself like, you know what? Maybe these things wasn't created with specific properties the way we think it was made. It probably was made wonderfully through the good vibration, but then fearfully through its own homeostasis, self-developing, self-making, operating way through vibration. Because when you look at the heart, right? The heart is something that feels, right? It almost is the core of the body, right? But it's contentless until the brain signals it, or when the heart signals the brain. Either way, it takes the brain to signal the heart. But on its own, the heart is its own vibration field, right? And whatever it feels, there's no content to it. There's no words to it. It just feels what it feels. It's only when the brain is signaled that, okay, it's feeling like this due to what I perceive through the eyes, and then the perception that is held onto the eyes of what I'm looking at, and then I bring that back onto the brain, and then I bring that down to the heart, and then I make what it is to be why I'm feeling the emotion or experiencing the emotion. When I meditate and I'm thoughtless and I'm contentless, right? And I'm feeling the vibration, now all of a sudden, this meditation or this feeling of thoughtlessness, right, and release allows me to elevate myself beyond. And we say we're getting closer to God's level when we are. When we actually getting closer to the truth. God is the truth, first of all. God is responsible for everything. He created everything. But in the way how we look at it is not the right way. When we are meditating and we going on different dimensional levels through this thoughtlessness, that is the way how things were made. So all we are doing is we traveling back to the essence on where the source is. So my point is to that is like, you know, maybe we're just created through a good source, which made us wonderfully made, right? Imperfectly made, because we're made wonderfully because we're made from the good source, begetting from a good source, but then it's fearful made because now it's on its own. You know? Now it's on its own. And this where, shout out to my woo niggas. My woo niggas said we are on our own. That's what it stands for. And it's crazy because it's close to what the truth is. Free the guys, by the way. Right? So now, when you put yourself in the Guardian of Galaxy footsteps, right? So you're flying out, right? You just made it out of Earth. Now you're thinking to yourself, damn, look at all these planets, you know, look at all these ecosystems. Look at how this is work. Wow, God is great, right? But when you think on an automatic level of God, it helps soothe you back onto just simplicity. You know, these planets are made, God is responsible, case closed. That's because your mind is not ready to comprehend something. So therefore you looking for a subsiding method, an easy way out in order for you to subside the paranoia, subside the overconsumption of thought of how this was created. But that's not my point. It gets deeper than that. Now when you're amongst these aliens, right? eventually, when you break the tesseract of this galaxy that you're living in, right? You go into another dimension, right? You go amongst aliens, right? In different galaxies. They got a movie out where there's like different galaxies layered on top of each other, right? And you talking to aliens, and you stop to think to yourself one day, you just in a deep thought. You say to yourself like, damn, why did God create us as human beings? So simple. Just simple creatures. But then he turned around and then he created layer after layer of alien after alien after alien after alien with different gifted features who actually have the intuition as well as the willpower, as well as the courage, as well as the mindfulness to want to research onto building better aircrafts, ecosystems, technologies, and all type of stuff like that. And creating this in such advanced levels that it saw more and more to create, onto a point maybe even the aliens even ruled out God. Because now they think that they got so much that they don't have no time to believe in God. Or if they do, they believe in something that is of their resemblance. So now you got everything believing in something of its resemblance in the extraterrestrial world, while the human in a simplicit fashion, in a systemic fashion, is thinking about God, heaven. You ever stop to think about this? When you go to heaven, you think it's going to be all humans? If God is all? Or do you think it's going to be departments of different heavens? Like you're gonna have aliens in this heaven, and dogs in this heaven, and cats in this heaven. Why you can't have a cat and a dog and a human in heaven all together? I mean, it's God. You could be at the movie theater, there'll be a dog sitting there just like the movies. He'll be just sitting there, he'll talk to you. Would you be uncomfortable? Would you accept it? Would you accept that a human might want to marry a dog, or a human might want to marry an alien? Or do you feel like God could just departmentalize everything and keep everything separate, though everything is of his creation? Or do you think that you are of the segregation? Do you think you're segregated? Do you think that all those things don't exist and humans are the only ones that's going to be in heaven because, like they say, quote unquote, we are of his resemblance, but yet they call him God of all things, which they know, which are extraterrestrials, dogs and cats and all these things, but yet you believe that you're his resemblance while you're in a universe filled with a whole bunch of things. The first mistake you fell for is you believing that you're here on your own. That was the first mistake, because you're not here on your own, and you know that. Second mistake is that you believe that you were on your own, but you also said to yourself, like, you didn't believe you were on your own. I'm sorry, you didn't believe you were on your own, but then you turned around and envisioned or perceived heaven or God to be something like you. That's pretty selfish. What if some other extraterrestrial, some other planet is thinking like, hey, maybe God is like me and he's not like those humans. He's just a selfish. So everybody's individually selfish. And then through that, everybody's running their own systems through the belief of them being human, and I'm alien here and I'm alien here. Even dogs could even believe they're God. So when you come to the truth of it, everything is working as one energy coming down collectively. But are you ready to accept that you're going to be sharing a heaven? And for those going anywhere else, sharing that anywhere else. Do you believe? Because you have to be ready to believe. This is why I'm even bringing it up. I'm not bringing this up off of just some random thought. I'm bringing this off because if we believe in the source that is the all, then we have to believe that the all is the all. And we're going to have to share the all's offsprings if we believe we're the onsprings. So, I just don't get it. So picture yourself like you flying You flying out to another planet and you amongst these aliens. What are you thinking to yourself? You're thinking to yourself like, damn, God created you and created you much, much more advanced. And I want to understand you. And then once you understand it, you say to yourself, damn, well, if this was a convenient way of doing things, then why did we have to go through what we had to go through? You know what I'm saying? Because all we did was really suffer and kill amongst one each other and believe in fact it's like Donald Trump. No disrespect to Donald Trump. I'm not trying to, but it was just a statement. But anyway, like, what would you be thinking? In these faster spacecrafts that are faster and better and bigger, but then they go through more defects because of how they were wonderfully and fearfully made, which will symbolize how we are. The more advanced that we are, the more fearfully, things could happen. So now we going into a place in society-wise where, we go into advanced technologies and advanced things. And they're fearful. I mean, 5G is, double, what we got? Triple the megahertz, right? Which helps triple distribute the speed even faster, right? And then we got electromagnetic field energy, being its residuals from that megahertz speed and that distribution through different devices, right? And developing different type of structures. But then we take the risk of electromagnetic frequency, which can be connected, to these poles and wires, and then which can cause all type of shit. Right? So it's fearful. No different than us. And then we'll be contradicting the Van Halen belt that's protecting us from the gamma rays and the harmful rays that can hit the planet. But we do it out of just, connectivity and advancements, right? So, here we are. So, with all this, so the moral of this whole thing is like, you really think we on our own. And if you really think we on our own, then you really trapped in a matrix, because you really think that after this it's just going to be us. Like, we just going to pass on to the next life, and it's just we're going to see us, only amongst us, And it's just not what it is. You're going to be amongst so many diversities that if you can't handle being around a black person or Indian person or a Haitian person, how you going to handle being around aliens or fucking dogs and cats that talk and shit like that, or other creatures who are even mixed in, or even crustaceans or anything that's besides you? And this might be the reason onto why life is going on and on and on and on and on, because the major mistake was not being able to accept one another and being so fucking diverse. So we have to come back onto the middle way. And that's my time, people. I'm out of here, man. Peace.